Who was Jeffrey Epstein before the world learned of his scandalous secrets? The answer to that question is as intriguing as it is fraught with controversy. Born in the year 1953 in the bustling borough of Brooklyn, New York, Epstein's life began in humble origins. His parents worked hard to provide for him and his brother, instilling in them a work ethic that would eventually propel Epstein to the upper echelons of society. His early education took place at Lafayette High School, an institution known for its strong emphasis on math and science. It was here that Epstein began to show signs of the exceptional intelligence that would later shape his career. However, it's worth noting that Epstein didn't complete his physics degree at Cooper Union and later at New York University, leaving both without a degree. In the mid-1970s, Epstein entered the world of finance, securing a teaching job at the prestigious Dalton School thanks to his unique prowess in mathematics. But it wasn't until he joined Bear Stearns, a global investment bank and securities trading and brokerage firm, that his career truly took off. His rapid rise at the firm was nothing short of meteoric, and before long, Epstein had become a key player in the world of high finance. His ascent to wealth was as rapid as it was remarkable. Epstein's high-profile connections spanned across industries and continents, counting among them business tycoons, renowned scientists, and even royalty. His philanthropic efforts, particularly in the realm of science and education, further bolstered his public image as a successful financier and benefactor. And yet, beneath the veneer of success and philanthropy, a much darker narrative was taking shape, one that would shock the world and lead to one of the most scandalous falls from grace in recent history. And so Epstein's life before the scandal was seemingly that of a successful financier and philanthropist, but what lay beneath was far more sinister. What was the scandal that shattered Epstein's illustrious facade? Let's delve into the grim details. In 2005, the Palm Beach police launched an investigation into Epstein after receiving reports of his illicit activities. The allegations were nothing short of horrifying, with claims of inappropriate conduct with underage girls. As the investigation progressed, the extent and severity of Epstein's alleged transgressions came into stark focus. The police found evidence pointing towards an organized operation. The victims, mostly underage girls from disadvantaged backgrounds, were lured into Epstein's mansion under the pretext of providing massages for monetary compensation. But the reality was far more sinister, as these massage sessions were often a front for sexual exploitation. The victims' stories painted a chilling picture of Epstein, a man who, beneath the veneer of a successful financier, harbored a propensity for exploiting the vulnerable. His wealth and influence, it seemed, served not just to fuel his lavish lifestyle, but also to provide a shield against the consequences of his actions. In 2007, the police had compiled enough evidence to indict Epstein. The charges were grave: procuring a minor for prostitution and engaging in solicitation. However, Epstein's wealth and connections came to his rescue once again. He struck a plea deal with the prosecutors, pleading guilty to a single-state charge of soliciting prostitution from underage girls. In exchange for his plea, Epstein received an astonishingly lenient sentence of just 18 months, with the possibility of parole after 13. The plea deal also granted immunity to any potential co-conspirators, effectively putting a stop to any further investigations into Epstein's network. The scandal, once revealed, painted a dark picture of a man who used his wealth and connections to exploit the vulnerable. But this was just the beginning, as the full extent of Epstein's actions and the network that enabled him was yet to be uncovered. How did Epstein's empire crumble, leading to his eventual arrest? In the summer of 2019, Epstein's seemingly untouchable world started to unravel. His arrest on the 6th of July marked the beginning of the end for the financier. The charges? Sex trafficking of minors in Florida and New York, crimes that had allegedly been ongoing for a number of years. Federal agents acting on a search warrant raided Epstein's Manhattan mansion. What they discovered was disturbing and damning. Hundreds of explicit images of underage girls, some locked in a safe alongside piles of cash, diamonds, and an expired fake passport. The evidence was overwhelming, painting a picture of a man who had used his wealth and influence to exploit the most vulnerable. Yet the true extent of Epstein's crimes was not confined to the walls of his residences. His private island in the Caribbean, dubbed Pedophile Island by the locals, was also implicated in the scandal. It was here, amid the azure waters and palm trees, that many of his alleged abuses had taken place. As the details of Epstein's sordid activities came to light, the public outcry was deafening. Social media was ablaze with calls for justice. The rich and powerful, once Epstein's peers and associates, distanced themselves. The pressure on the legal system was immense. Everyone wanted to see Epstein held accountable, and the wheels of justice, though often slow, began to turn. The charges brought against Epstein were serious, carrying a potential sentence of up to 45 years in prison, effectively a life sentence for the 66-year-old. The stage was set for one of the most high-profile trials of the century, but Epstein would never face his accusers in court. His downfall was swift, as the secrets he had kept hidden for so long were exposed for the world to see. What happened to Epstein in his final days, and how did his story conclude in such a mysterious way? In early August of 2023, Epstein was found unresponsive in his jail cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York. Despite attempts to revive him, he was pronounced dead. The official cause of death, as stated by the New York City Medical Examiner's Office, was suicide by hanging. This announcement, however, did not quell the rising tide of speculation and conspiracy theories that promptly began to swirl around Epstein's demise. There were those who found it hard to believe that Epstein, a man of wealth and influence, could have taken his own life in a high-security federal facility. Questions were raised about the circumstances surrounding his death: the broken security cameras in his cell block, the guards who were reported to have fallen asleep on duty, the irregularities in the routine checks. All these elements painted a picture that, to many, seemed far from a simple case of suicide. The theories that arose were as varied as they were sensational. Some suggested that Epstein had been silenced to prevent him from revealing damaging information about other high-profile individuals. Others speculated that he may have faked his own death and escaped, citing the discrepancies in the autopsy report and the unusual circumstances of his burial. It's important to note, however, that these conspiracy theories, while popular, lack concrete evidence. The official stance remains that Epstein died by his own hand. Yet the lingering doubts and unanswered questions continue to fuel the public's fascination with Epstein's life and his mysterious end. The Epstein saga, with its mix of power, scandal, and mystery, has become a symbol of the dark side of privilege and the failures of our justice system. It serves as a stark reminder of the lengths to which some will go to protect their secrets, and the price that is often paid by the most vulnerable among us. Epstein's death, shrouded in mystery, has only served to fuel the public's fascination and horror at his scandalous life. Why does Epstein's scandal continue to resonate today, and what impact has it had on society? In the aftermath of Epstein's demise, the labyrinth of his illicit activities didn't crumble. It only deepened. The investigations into his associates persist, as law enforcement agencies across the globe vow to leave no stone unturned. From high-profile politicians to influential business tycoons, many have found themselves under scrutiny. Their relationships with Epstein casting long, suspicious shadows over their reputations. Epstein's scandal has triggered a sea change in legal procedures and law enforcement. The once hushed whispers of the rich and powerful exploiting their positions to evade justice have turned into a deafening roar. The legal system, riddled with loopholes, has been nudged toward introspection and reform. There's a growing demand for more transparency, for holding the powerful accountable, for justice that isn't swayed by wealth and connections. But perhaps the most significant impact of Epstein's scandal is the broader conversation it has ignited about power, wealth, and exploitation. It has shattered the illusion of a just world, exposing the grim reality of how the vulnerable can be exploited by those with power. It's a conversation that's uncomfortable, yet necessary. A conversation that forces us to confront the stark inequalities that persist beneath the veneer of our society. Epstein's scandal has also fueled a renewed push for victims' rights. The voices of the survivors, once muffled by the clout of their abusers, are now echoing in the halls of justice. Their courage and resilience are driving a powerful movement, demanding societal and systemic changes to better protect the vulnerable. In the wake of Epstein's scandal, society stands at a crossroads. One path leads to complacency, the other to change. The choice we make will set the course for the kind of world we wish to inhabit. Even in death, Epstein's scandal continues to shake society, forcing us to confront uncomfortable truths about power, privilege, and the exploitation of the vulnerable.